Welcome back. This is now lesson 5 of topic 1.1, the purpose and nature of businesses. So, in the last lesson, you will have attempted the test, the end of chapter test, all on Elon Musk. But before we go on to looking at the potential answers for those questions, in your keywords book even, please copy out the following 4 words. I'm going to go for each one very, very quickly, and at the end of which, pause the video if you need to get them in, and of course if you're ready you can just continue with the next slide. So first word, business plan. This is a detailed statement of how the business intends to operate either at startup, which is at the beginning of the business, or during a given period of time. The business plans are based on forecasts and so cover only a short time. To put simply, it's usually used to hopefully gain the interest and the trust of potential investors. If you want to go to a bank or an investor, they're going to want to know what the business is about, what you plan to do, how you're going to do it, what you need, what money you need, how much of that is going to go where, and when you're going to start to see a profit, because they want to know that the money is not just being wasted, and they want to know a timeline as to when that moment of you breaking even will take place, and therefore for them to get their money back as well. It encourages them, because if you have it all written down, it shows that you're serious about the business. It shows that you thought about it, and it also helps them decide whether if it's a viable option, if it's something that's actually they can be on board with, they believe in or not. Without it, it's pretty much impossible to gain the trust of anyone. And get them to actually invest in you. Think about it. If you're going to go to someone with, even if it's for 10, 15 or £100, they're going to want to know when they're going to get it back. So if you're going to go to an investor asking for hundreds and thousands of pounds, they're going to want to know those specific details, won't they? Second word, competition. Very simple word. I'm sure you've heard of this word since primary school, but this is the rivalry between businesses looking to sell their goods or services in the same market. So that part is very, very important. It's key, because when you think about it, Greggs is not going to be concerned about what Nike do. Obviously, it sounds silly to even suggest that, because they don't sell the same thing. Now, if Nike was to start selling pastries as some form of expansion in their stores, then Greggs might think then that there's a bit of an issue now, because when people go to the Nike stores, they might go past Greggs, but then think, actually, I'll buy it from inside Nike because I might get some kind of discount or something. So it's not a rivalry, it's not competition until you start selling something in this, in a similar market or similar product. Third word, cost. Another simple, self-explanatory word. This is the money spent by a business on goods and services. So what it costs them to make something. Fixed costs. So this is going a step further. These are the costs, the money that they spend, that stay largely the same regardless of the business output. So what we mean by the business output is this: the rent of a factory, let's just say, or the lease of a factory. So how much a company may pay to be in a particular building that they use as a factory. Now that building may cost them, let's just say, £700-800 a month. Okay, just to be there. Now, whether they make 100 shoes or 1,000,000 shoes in that month makes no difference. They still have to pay the £700 or £800 for that rent, for that lease. So that is a fixed cost. That cost doesn't go up or down because they're making less or more. Whereas there'll be other costs that will go up or down, which aren't fixed, because it depends on what you're making, how much you're making. Okay, which we're going to go into some other time. So those are the 4 words. Please write them down, get familiar with them. You will be tested on these, and again, these are words you need to start using in your answers. The more we go down through this course, the more these words you get used to, familiar with, the more you'll be able to insert into your answers, and you have a more full depth, rich answer when you come to actually addressing these questions. So pause the video if you haven't got all 4 down yet. Otherwise, we're moving on. So we're going to go straight into those questions, and what I'm going to do is, actually, let's do this one step at a time. So question 1 was you were asked to identify 2 reasons for someone setting up their own business. Again, not something you've not been familiar with or we haven't covered already, but let's go through some of the examples. The first reason could be for financial ones. They want to make more money. So someone might set up their own business because they're not happy with how much they're getting with whoever they're working for right now, and they're thinking, you know what, if I did it for myself, I'd earn more money. Simple. Number 2, because they want to contribute something to society by creating a business that protects the environment or cares for children. So some people start their own business because they see a problem. They think, okay, you know what, this neighborhood isn't doing well, or there's this issue with this technology, this particular product or market that they think they could do better. Okay, so they do it because they want to make a difference, and they make something great out of it at the end as a result. The third option could be that because they are not happy in their jobs and they wish to do something completely different. Yeah, so one might want to just think, you know what, I've had enough of this job. I hate having someone breathing down my neck. I want to do something for myself. I want to have that self-satisfaction. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and say, that's my business, that's my company name, that's my logo, I did that. So it's that ability to be happy with what you created because you weren't happy with where you were. Okay, so that's question number 1. 2 marks, 2 reasons out of the 3. Question 2. Explain 2 possible characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Characteristics, what makes them a successful entrepreneur. So I've got 3 examples here. Any 2 will do. An entrepreneur has to be innovative. So you get 1 mark. You use that word there. If he or she is to succeed. This means, and now we're going into explaining it, this means that they must come up with ideas that can be turned into successful products. Elon Musk, here's the example or the evidence. Elon Musk has demonstrated this as he sets up technology businesses as well as the hugely popular and valuable PayPal. There you go, done. So you're using some of the points that you've extracted from the case study to input into your answers, showing that you are able to the word I'm looking for, able to understand using what's in there. Yeah, you're applying, that's the word I'm looking for. You're applying the knowledge to the case study. Number 2, an entrepreneur has to be a risk taker. So there's another mark right there. So that's the characteristic. Now we're using an example or evidence. Elon Musk has taken risks by investing all of the money he has earned from earlier businesses into new ones such as Tesla. There have been times when he thought he would lose, and of course many entrepreneurs do lose their wealth. So taking risks. Number 3, an entrepreneur must be hardworking and determined. As an example, James Dyson was unsuccessful in developing a new revolutionary vacuum cleaner for many years. He was successful partly because he did not give up. Okay, if memory serves me well, I think he made 1,000 different vacuum cleaners. Made one, tested it, found a problem with it, fixed that problem, made a second prototype, tested it, found another problem, fixed it, made another prototype, and he made 1,000 of these until he got it perfect before he went and made his company properly and made a business out of it. So if you gave up after the first, second one, we probably wouldn't even know who James Dyson is. And look where he is now. Dyson, one of the leading manufacturers of vacuum cleaners, and now even taking over hand dryers and the hair dryer and fans, room fans industry. Question 3. Analyze the possible reasons why Musk wants to be an entrepreneur. Well, there's many reasons, so I'm going to give you 2 examples here. They're not the only ones, so just bear that in mind. So the first one, Elon Musk may be trying to prove something to himself. He likes to challenge ideas and situations and change them for the better. Thus, the creation of Tesla is intended to provide a better and more environmentally friendly means of transport for millions of people. This involves challenging the established car industry. This is a risk, but perhaps Musk wants to show that his ideas are right. So maybe he's doing it because he believes in it, not just about making money. That's just a byproduct. Who knows? Only he knows, and God knows what's in his mind. But perhaps it's because he believes in it, and to a certain degree, I would have to agree with that purely because he's not an idiot. He wouldn't, he couldn't be an idiot, being where he is right now and being one of the richest, people in the world. He has to have some kind of intelligence. So why has he risked so much of his money? Because he believes in it. He must think that there's a potential in this, not just to make money, but to make a difference in the world. Number 2, Musk sees opportunities where others may not. He believes that he can make money from this. So one is because he believes in it and he thinks it's going to make a difference. Someone has to try. That's what he says in the case study. But the second point is that he believes there's potential. There's money to be made from this. This is shown by the establishment of SpaceX with the ambitious goal of colonizing Mars. For few people would take the risk of investing in such a business, but the business is already being used by the US government. So something as far-fetched, something you would expect from a sci-fi film or story, he's already invested into it, and the US government's making use of it. He's making some money out of it. So he's seeing the potential, he's seeing something in the future, something that other people do not. Now I'm about to go to the next question. If, however, you need more time, as always, pause the video here. Otherwise, let's move on to question number 4. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one purely because in the plan, in the previous lesson that is, I did go over pretty much the answers. I just showed you how to make a plan, whether it's in bullet point forms, and talked about the key things you should mention. Now, if for those of you who didn't use the plan and did it, cold turkey, then fantastic. You can pause the video, have a look at here. Of course, I'm going to go through each of these points, but I've gone through more elaborate detail in the plan in the previous video. So if you haven't actually used the plan, it might be useful to look at the plan to mark this question. Self-mark this question. Of course, if you are in my lesson, then of course I'll be marking this for you. But it's always worth looking at these answers and self-marking because it makes you a better student, and it makes it easier for you to understand these points and therefore get the marks in the real thing. Anyway, let's go on. So these are some of the example answers. These are not all of them. As I said in the plan, I go through a few more things. So let's read through. So the answers for the question: evaluate the reasons why. Why would a government want to? Why should a government help entrepreneurs set up in a business? So why should the government go out of their way, spend time and money and expertise to help new entrepreneurs set businesses up? So the answers could include the following. The creation of new businesses help the economy to create jobs. This may assist in lowering the rate of unemployment in the economy. In turn, the government may receive the benefit of reduced spending on welfare payments to the unemployed. This may allow it to then spend more on other key areas such as the healthcare, NHS. Encouraging people to start their own businesses will increase the number of new businesses as well. The UK is good at this. Some of these businesses will develop into large ones, creating important sources of tax revenue for governments and increasing income levels in the country. So everyone wins there. Helping entrepreneurs to create new businesses can in turn promote the development of other businesses to support them. Thus, a new business established by an entrepreneur will need supplies and services such as accountancy and marketing. This can enable existing businesses to survive, as well as stimulating the creation of new ones. What we mean by this, boys and girls, is this. If you have a business that's about buying and selling trainers, let's just say, and you're making your very own Foot Lockers, as an example, then you're going to have to get trainers delivered to you, and you may want to also deliver trainers to your customers. So the delivery companies that you use are also benefiting from your success. The more you make, the more busy you are. The more busy you are, the more the service of these delivery companies you're going to need. Not only that, you might hire someone to do your advertising for you, the marketing. So the more popular you become, the more marketing you're going to need, and therefore the more money they make because you're paying them to do that job. So you can see how everything ties in business. Last paragraph. There are many reasons why governments should support the creation of new businesses. Many of these are economic, helping the government to raise greater amounts of revenue from taxes meaning corporation tax, income tax from the people who are working as well, and permitting more expenditure on important services such as education, because if the government's not giving money to people anymore because they're working, so they don't need benefits anymore, they don't need job seekers allowance, that means the money is saved, and therefore that can go towards the NHS, to doctors, to schools, to the police force. However, they can have important positive social effects too, helping people to avoid the personal difficulties of unemployment, for example, because more and more people are working. If they're working, they're making a living, they're earning. If they're earning, they're not going to worry about food and expenses and things like that because they're earning money. It becomes a problem when people don't have a job and therefore they don't make money, and therefore they'll resort to crime because of desperation. So you can see there is another tie there to the betterment of society and the country itself. Now, as I said, that's a full, in-depth answer there. And there are some things that aren't included in this example answer that I actually included in my plan in the previous lesson. For those of you who really, really want to go for the high marks, 9s, 8s and 7s, I would definitely strongly suggest and recommend that you look at the end of lesson number 4 to get the full answer, because there's nothing wrong with having more in your answer, especially for the big mark questions like this one. Again, pause the video here if you need a bit more time to look through this. Give yourself a tick. Ask yourself, where are those 12 marks? Yeah, you need to ask yourself, have you put key words in there? Have you made a point? Have you provided evidence and then explained it and then link it to the next one? We're going to move on now. And we're going to finish off this lesson with a next steps task. Now, for my class, and you will have a sheet for this anyway, and in my lessons, I will pick out the tasks, the 2 tasks that I want you to do in your own time. There's no answers here for me to go through, because this is something you're going to have to do by yourself, and perhaps you can show it to your teacher for them to give you some feedback on. But it's just an activity for you to basically get your thinking hat on, basically, and to pursue it even further. So if you're in my lesson, I've already marked your test, and you will know in the next steps task sheet which letter tasks I want you to go and attempt. If you do this from home, if you miss my lesson, if you're not in my class, then what I would suggest you do is pick one hard one and one easy one and one difficult one. And what might make more sense is some of these questions are similar to the questions in the previous test. So pick the ones that you found difficult and are similar. Okay, so I'll leave it up to you. And you can see there's 3 4-mark questions and a 6-mark question. For those of you who want to really challenge yourself, I don't see any harm in you doing 3, if not all 4. Especially for those who want to aim for the 9s, 8s and 7s. So, let's go for each one. And we'll see what this is about. So task A. Explain, using one example of each, the differences between needs and wants. So, what is a need? And give an example. What is a want? And give an example. And you're going to be able to hopefully explain the difference between those 2 words. Okay, 4 marks there. Off you go. Task B. Peter owns a dairy farm. So this is a small little case study. He uses some of the milk from his farm to make luxury ice cream. Explain how Peter's farm is part of 2 sectors of the economy. So I'm telling you that Peter, in this situation, he's actually a part of 2 sectors. So the first thing you need to do is tell me which 2 sectors, and then tell me why. How do you know that he belongs to these 2 sectors that you've identified? 4 marks, off you go. Task C. Bill Gates founded and built the world's largest software business, Microsoft. Through technological innovation, keen business strategy and aggressive business tactics. In the process, Gates became one of the richest men in the world. Explain 2 possible characteristics of a successful entrepreneur such as Bill Gates. So you're going to pick 2 characteristics that you can see evident in that case study. If you want to do a bit of more research, you can do, help yourself. Pick 2 characteristics that you think made him and makes him, because he's still alive, still earning money, still one of the richest people in the world. What makes him a successful entrepreneur? And explain it. Okay, so 2 characteristics and then explain each one. So 2 points for the characteristics and then 2 more marks for the explanation. And lastly, task D. Now for this one, you're going to have to go to this website. Now I made a bit.ly, basically it's like a short cut or a short version of a long website, and it is case sensitive. You're going to open a tab on your laptop or computer, phone, whatever it is, and you're going to type in the Google search bar or in the address bar at the top, using Chrome or Windows Explorer, whatever Internet Explorer that you're using, browser you're using. bit, this is all lowercase, bit.ly /2 capital K lowercase q capital D lowercase k number 8 and then lowercase f. Okay, so bit.ly /2kq dk8f, and the K and the D are capitals, the rest are lowercase. This should take you to a website, and it's got an article. And what I want you to do is I want you to read the article, but first of all, let's read the question so then you know what you're looking for in the article. I want you to evaluate 3 benefits to a country if businesses do well and are profitable. So you're going to look for 3 things that a country gains because businesses are doing well. So you're going to find 3 items and then evaluate those 3 things from that article. Okay, sounds difficult, it is, but you should be able to do so. Read it and see if you can identify and explain each one. So there you have it, boys and girls. 4 tasks. Pick at least 2, 3 or 4 if you really want to challenge yourself. I would suggest you spend no more than 20 minutes on this. And then again, if you're in my class, I'll mark these and give you some feedback. And for those of you who are doing it at home, maybe show it to your teacher, see what they say. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.